Okay, so we've got some hot off the press news here. We've got the first Age of Mythology Retold patch notes update. So this is coming in just before the Red Bull qualifiers, which is pretty crazy because obviously everyone's been practicing on a certain patch, and now there's going to be a new patch for the qualifiers, and there's not going to be much time to practice. So that's a bit strange, but the game's been out from early access for 2.5 weeks, and it seems like, at least from me playing a lot of rank the last couple of days, people have really found what's strong. That's centaurs, minotaurs, Set, Isis, some Odin. So we're going to see what's happening within this patch notes and see if they've addressed any of those things. I haven't looked at it. I've looked at some of these just titles. So I think we're going to go through the stability and the performance because that's interesting. Because obviously people have had some problems because it's new. And then we'll just go down to the balance and see how that's going to affect the upcoming tournament. So stability and performance. Fixes for many of the most commonly experienced and reported crashes. Okay, I don't know why that was difficult to say, but like I said, there's been a few issues with crashes, especially in custom games. It seems like you make a custom game and then you just can't find another one, or it crashes. So that's good that a lot of the common ones are fixed. The same as out of sync. You get out of sync from watching replays, which is a bit strange. So it's good that that's now fixed. Minor performance improvements throughout gameplay. I mean, this is more, maybe it doesn't say specific things. Maybe we should just skip past this. But if there is still a problem, then they want feedback. So we're going to go into just general balance. There are lots of other things, but I just want to go through the balance. Otherwise, we'll be here for a long time. So general balance technology is heroic age is going from 60 seconds to 75 seconds. So there's been a lot of fast aging up. So I'm assuming this is to kind of counter that, like ISIS fast heroics and things. So to stop that, or lots of fast Njord trees situation to cheese down a town center with Njord and the Heimdall god powers combined. And then the Mythic Age, 120 seconds though, 2 minutes is a very, very long time. So I'm not sure what I think of that one. I think maybe it would have made sense to just go because the first one's 60, isn't it? So classical 60, heroic could be 75, mythic could be 90. Would be nice, but I mean, obviously, we'll have to see how it goes. Um, yeah, we'll have to see how it goes on that one. Next one is buildings. So town centers, citadel centers, accuracy is increased. So I'm not sure how this is going to work, but right now you can juke all the arrows. So say you run in with your scout, if you just move your scout as the arrows shoot, you dodge them. I'm assuming that's what they don't like, or maybe when you go in for a rush, the and the units run away, even the non-fast units, just like a normal military unit, not on a horse, can run away. Maybe that's the issue. Can escape the town center fire, and the town center is getting more damage. So I'm assuming they're finding that people are rushing underneath the town centers, and they want the town centers to hit them and do more damage, which I think is absolutely fine because Retold does feel um, very good for the aggressor and not for the defender, which is fine for me because that's what I like to do. But other people obviously don't. Trees get 50 more wood. That'll be good on some of those maps where it's pretty spread out. It's one of the new maps. I think it might be Giza. It's one of the ones that's sandy and kind of deserty. The trees are kind of around, and then if like you have an Odin or Thor does a forest fire or a Frey does a forest fire, then you're a bit screwed. So this is good that you can now chop the same trees for longer, which is probably going to be okay. Huntable animals decay slightly less. I mean, they decay really slowly anyway, so slower, yeah, it's fine. So now we're on to pantheon changes. Now Hades is probably one of the strongest. He has some of the best like kind of passive bonuses. So he did have 20% extra hit points for his myth units, and now it's going down to 15. I still think this is an insanely good special bonus to have. So I don't see that being much of a problem, but maybe it won't be as oppressive. And then his gastrophetus. Oh, I didn't realize they actually changed their names. Um, gets less damage. I mean, it's fine. I mean, they're meant to be good against buildings mostly, but they were shredding. Here we go. So we're going into minor gods, Athena, Sarissa. So this is the technology which gives more hoplite range. So it's just giving slightly less hoplite range. So in my best technologies video, we saw that if you have a hoplite army with Sarissa and without. The one with Sarissa just absolutely wrecks it because they can attack from really far away. They can be like 2 units behind and still be attacking. So maybe this will only make it 1 unit behind, and that'll be I think a fair change. Because it also gives extra attack, I feel like, or extra defense or something. Dionysus Bronze now grants less armor from 50% to 45. I think it makes sense. Bronze is so good right now. Like it's insane. You don't realize how good bronze is because bronze has always been like a kind of mediocre god power from the legacy game. So coming in here, especially because it affects myth units and stuff now, I think this is a good change. If you do a bronze up against a flaming weapons with like an equal army, you come out on top like by far. So maybe this will bring it a bit more in line. 5% is not a big deal though. Myth units. This is what I was talking about. Minotaurs. Minotaurs are so strong. So what is happening to them? So they are slightly more expensive, 30 gold and 1 favor more, which is obviously you can't mass them. Is for one doesn't really make that much difference. But what players were doing was getting 3, 4 right at the start of the game. Like 6, 7 minutes in, you're having like 4 minotaurs. So this is much better now. Being a bit harder to do that, and they have less pierce armor. So again, underneath the town centers are buffed and the pierce armor's down, so the town centers will be able to take them out a bit better. So Cyclopses, they don't feel very good. So I like that they're having their costs decreased, and both armors increase. So hack armor and pierce armor. 30% hack armor just felt really strange, considering that something like a hoplite has more than a Cyclops myth unit. It's a bit strange. Now Hydra and Scylla. So this is changing how often they get their heads. I mean, they're getting their heads so quick. You see a lot of 3 or 4 head Hydras and Scyllas. So I'm glad that that's being looked at. Scylla with 1 head though is insane. So I maybe they need to look at that as well. I think Scylla is like the best myth unit for the water by far, at least from what I've seen. Um, so Chimera. Chimera is losing hit points and the special is being decreased. And the special now inflicts less against heroes. Now, I think it's weird. So from the original game, myth units couldn't use their specials on heroes. I think that was good, and now they can, which just feels a bit strange. But I think if they're having such a negative multiplier, maybe it's fine. Um, but because I think this is one of the issues with the centaurs, which actually hasn't been touched. I haven't said centaurs, have I? So with the centaur special, what it seems like is when they use the special, if you have like 5 centaurs against a hero and you use the special ability, it does so much damage. Maybe they need to add that to the centaurs as well. Or if they have it, it needs to be less, like a less multiplier. Human units. So archers for the Greeks are trained slower. Now, so this is interesting because this is what it was during the beta, I believe, and now or similar. It had definitely gone down from the beta to the base game or to the full release, and now from the first patch, we're kind of going back. I think maybe Greeks got a bit overbuffed, and that's probably the case. Peltas cost increase. Peltas are so good, so I do like that. 70 wood is so much though for a unit like a Peltast, and also the train time for Peltas as well. Hippaspis, rate of fire. It's basically all the Greek units are getting nerfed. Either train time or some kind of damage, everything. So rate of fire, they're slightly slow. I mean, very slightly slower. Um, Heliopolis are getting less hit points. I haven't even noticed them being that strong, to be honest. So it's a bit strange. Um, Petropolis damage versus ships has been increased. I mean, that's it's not going to happen very often. And the Pentacons are getting 20 more, whatever. That's just a whatever change. Don't really like water fights anyway. I'd never do well on those. And the buildings, pierce damage decreased from 13 to 9 for the fortress. That's quite a bit, because also they shoot more than 1 arrow. That's quite a big change. I wonder if they'll change some of the other ones as well. Maybe that's just like fortress type buildings are doing too much. So that's it. So there was no centaurs within that, which is wild to me. So now we're going in with the Egyptians. So Set is probably the strongest god in the game. So, because of his animals, so here we go. Hit points reduced by 25% rounded to the nearest 5 for set animals. Especially on maps that have high hunt, you could just convert so many animals and they're just like these huge meat shields. They do they do a lot of attack as well. They have a lot of attack value, but at least now they'll be less tanky. So maybe that will bring set in line with some of the other ones. Maybe. Well, we'll have to see. He still has some crazy bonuses with like the speed of his classical units and stuff. Rob buff, I assume. Priests and Pharaoh empowerment now empower at 70% the strength of a Pharaoh. Oh, okay, okay. So priests are now 70% strength, and the pharaoh on the monuments. Okay, that was just either it's worded weird or I couldn't work it out. So priests were previously 60, and then when you empower the monument as a pharaoh, it does a priest empowerment for everything within the radius. So now what's happening is they've just buffed that, which I think is fine. I think it did feel a little bit weak, but the ability itself is so strong. So I think we're going to have to watch that number and see if that just pushes Ra. I mean, at least it pushes him more in line with Isis than Set, because it doesn't look like there's an Isis nerf, which is interesting. But I think it's more Isis is more for the minor gods, which is why she's strong rather than her abilities. So the first one, minor gods, Nephthys, Spirit of March. This is the priest upgrade that makes your priest cheaper. So the heal rate improvement has decreased from 100% to 50%. I mean, when you get loads and loads of priests out and they heal, I can kind of see why that is, because in the old game you could only heal with one at a time. If you had one unit, you could have one priest on it. Now if you have 10 priests and they want to heal one unit, they all do it. So I can definitely see that. Uh, Eclipse from 86 seconds to 80 seconds. I mean, why was it 86 seconds anyway? That's a bit strange. A really weird number. But 80 seconds, fine, it's still really long. I always feel like when I use the Ancestors Eclipse, and there's so much more Eclipse time afterwards, so I can kind of see why that they want to nerf that a little bit. And Ancestors Eclipse is so good. Plague of Serpents, probably one of the most busted god powers there is. So the total number of snakes spawned has decreased from 16 to 14. Now spawns 2 snakes every 3 seconds instead of 2 seconds. So it's slower and there's less. I think that's a good change. The slower, I guess it's okay, but normally you just want to do it to deny an area anyway. I mean, so that's a bit strange, but 2 down, maybe that'll be fine. 14 snakes is so much. I thought it used to be like 9 or something in the old game. Sobek Locust Swarm now deals minus 90% damage versus allied units and buildings. I didn't realize it damaged. I mean, I don't really play Ra, so I don't really go through Sobek, but that's a bit strange that it deals any damage to allied things. Okay, bit weird. Horus Tornado can now properly damage settlements that are being constructed. I swear that was a bug on the old game as well, that it didn't really do damage to settlements. Weird that something like that would be carried over by mistake. Thoth Meteor. This is another insane god power. Damage decreased from 800 crush 50 divine to 750 crush 40 divine. Still so much. If that hits a whole army like now with that 50 divine damage, everything's gone. So 40 divine, is that going to make much difference? I guess we'll have to see. Petsuchos doesn't feel very good from what I've noticed. I mean, obviously I've not played it, but playing against it seems fine. Bonus versus heroes decreased. I think that should just be for every myth unit should have that. I don't, yeah. Then damage change from 50 pierce 10 crush to 50 pierce 10 divine. Okay. Okay, that's good. I think they're going to be good now. So what divine damage does is it goes through armor value. So this is always be dealing 10 plus the 50 pierce that will obviously be reduced by the armor. So that's always getting good value. Okay, they might be good now. Scorpion Men, I've just made a video about these. These are broken. Cost increase 175 wood, 200 wood, 22 favor, 24 favor. I think that's fine. If the like this is so cheap, 175 wood, 22 favor. So I think that's fine. And their special attack recharge has been increased by 4 seconds. I think that's a fair nerf. The damage is still the same, which is interesting because it does absolutely wreck. But then you can't get as many out with this. And 2 favor for someone like the Egyptians is a lot more than other civs, so I can see why they've done that. Rock. Oh, the rock. So nobody uses the rock because it's really slow. So, okay. So first of all, I mean, it's slow to pick up, but it's also slow in general. So 4.8 to 5, then takeoff time decreased from 3 to 2. So this is the weird thing about it is that it has to land now and it just takes ages. And it's like, when are you ever going to really use this? Apart from like bringing your units over water or jumping over a wall or something like that. Like, you're not going to use it like we used to use it, where you would just drop your army, where you would pick your army up quickly, drop them back down. So it looks like that's, I don't know. This just feels like a weird one. And it's just going to reduce so much that it's going to probably go back to how it was. Human units. So Pharaoh, we're still on the Egyptians. Pharaoh rate of fire, attack speed up from 1.2 to 1 second for each attack. Attack speed sped up from 1.2 to 1 second. Oh, okay. So instead of taking 1.2 seconds, it takes 1 second. I always find that that's a really weird thing for the rate of fire. So that's fine. So we get more damage from the Pharaoh. So that's absolutely fine. Or more attacks. All good. Um, Priest divine damage decreased. I think that's fine. Again, in my most recent video, I was saying about how good priests are with their divine damage against myth units. They're so good, especially with the Nephthys upgrade. So I agree with this one, even though I like playing Egyptian. Um, Axeman bonus versus infantry is up to 5 times. So 5 times is in line with the Herdman, I believe. Or maybe that's Herdman as Loki. But it's either Herdman or Herdman as Loki. Have 5 times. So Axeman having that is fine. I think some of the units for the Egyptians feel a bit weak. Their myth units and god powers are insanely strong, but their normal units aren't so good, so I can see why that's happened. Chariot archers, bonus versus infantry. So they didn't have bonuses before, and now they've got a little bonus versus infantry. I think chariots are good anyway. I think they're one of their fine units, but I think that's useful because something like the hoplites have bonus versus cavalry, and the chariot archer is a ranged cavalry unit. So it's weird that the hoplites would have bonus damage versus chariots, but chariots don't versus the hoplites. So now I can see why they've done something like that. Um, Siege tower, crush armor increased from 50 to 60. Okay, so enemy siege isn't as good against it. That seems okay. Ramming galley, again, so all of the ramming ones, they're just upping the hit points because they did that for the Greeks as well. I think it's because those are the ones that are in the front and they just get shredded sometimes, so absolutely fine. Leviathan bonus damage against myth units increased. Well, okay, so for both of these, they get more damage versus myth units. Maybe this will bring them more in line with the Scyllas. Okay, I like that. Their Migdal stronghold decreased from 10 to 8, just like the fortress. Isis monuments, god power blocking radius increased from 20 to 25, with the healing as well. I think that's fine. I just think I think players need to get better at placing their monuments. I've seen people complain about the monuments don't block god powers well enough, but I feel like if you have at least like 3 within your base, then nothing will be coming. And then if you want to put like a Migdal stronghold out, you can put an extra one on that Migdal, and you can't get any god powers on it. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's more of a skill issue, but I hear people crying, so maybe that's why it's kind of happened. So Frey, has obviously had a couple of weeks of play now. So let's see what his changes are. So Frey's gift now grants 10% hit points on all units. Previously was 25% hit points on heroes, human soldiers. So I mean, so that's good then. So that's hit points on myth units, villagers. Um, I think that's going to be stronger overall. I think that's fine. And it's a nice little bonus. I like that. Gullum Bursty no longer be teleported by shifting sands, but can still go through the underworld. Okay, that's a strange change, but okay. Maybe that's a bit of early game cheese where people were shifting sanding. I haven't played too much team games, so, or at least not any coordinated team games anyway. Ula's Asgardian Hill Fort fixed a bug where ox carts were unable to garrison. Okay, that's fine. Baragi flaming weapons, favor cost increased by 50 per cost. Oh, Okay, so that's doubled from what it was. I mean, flaming weapons has obviously always been one of the best god powers in the game. So using it more than once is fine, and because you'll be using it and getting more, um, you'll be getting more favor from it because you're doing more damage. Maybe that makes sense. But yeah, that's fine. Njord Walking Wood. So this is probably one of the. I think I said it for the Plague of Serpents, but I think Walking Woods is one of the most busted god powers. It's so good. Especially, there's been a lot of people trying like early cheeses. I had one today. You just got to make sure to get your heroes back, and it's absolutely fine. If you don't see this coming, the trees wreck you. So you now get one less tree, and um, the starting cost decreased. Okay, so you just get one less tree, but it's cheaper to use. Mm, okay, I think it should be fine with one less tree. Maybe that'll be make it fine. We'll have to see. Ragnarok, they now have less hack damage. That's good because I hate Ragnarok. I think most people do. Fimbulwinter reduced or decreased from 42 to 38 seconds. So 4 seconds less. I think it's fine because Fimbulwinter is really good. But the issue is that I don't like about this is ceasefire is like 25 seconds long or 24 seconds, whatever it is. So if you ceasefire like a few seconds after all the wolves spawn in, then they're only going to have about 10 seconds of Fimbulwinter, which is cancelled by a classical age god power. I don't really like that. Um, I'd prefer to keep that as 42 because then at least with the ceasefire. But I can see why they've done it if ceasefire is not in the game. Then Inferno Fenrir. Yeah, not going to read all that. Well before detonating, his trample attack now inflicts 30 hack damage per tick to those foolish enough to not get out of his path. Oh, so it's been nerfed. It was is 30 now 40. Okay, that's a bit weird. It doesn't seem overly broken to me, and it looks awesome. Myth unit rock giants get less health. I think that's fine. Especially if you go through hell, you can upgrade the one for the other giants, and you get even more health. So I can see why that's fine because they are super tanky. And they obviously had that taunt ability where you have to attack it. Portable rams get more crush, so that's just the same as all the other ones. Dreki increased. I was going to say, what is Dreki? But knowing from the context of the other ones, they're getting 20 more hit points for your hammer ships for the water, and then the hill forts again, and then Asgardian. Yeah. So we're on to the last ones now, Atlanteans. So Aranos, I love playing Aranos. I think he's so fun now. I used to hate him, as a lot of people did. Everyone used to hate Aranos, apart from the one playing him. But now I really like him. Bonus now reads as follows. Note, no changes were made. This is just clarifying text adjustment. Okay, so this is the exact same, but they've just tried to change the text. Okay. Oh, I think this is saying that he gets more favor. Oracles generate more favor because they have more line of sight. I think that's what it's saying. I think this line wasn't there before, and it's fine. Basically, Aranos gets more favor because he has more line of sight, and they gather through line of sight. That's basically what it's saying. But sky patches are now built faster, which is good. I do feel like if you sent one villager out to build the sky passage, it takes quite a while. So I like that that's down. And Empyrean speed cost decrease from 150 gold 5 favor to 100 gold 5 favor. Okay, so this is going to be his unique upgrade. This is the one which gives 10% bonus to infantry. So this was basically just making it so much easier to afford. So that's fine. I think it's a good buff for Aranos. I like a bit of Aranos. Gaia eco upgrades are even cheaper. I think she likes that. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. No longer sucks up flying units. Implode from Atlas. Interesting. Don't think that changes much. Carnivora bonus damage versus villagers decreased. Oh, okay. So they were obviously doing too much to villagers, even with the 0.5. It feels weird to nerf Atlanteans though. So I'm not sure what I feel about nerfing Atlanteans, but because they are by far the worst right now. Or at least they take the most skill to play, and I think that's kind of the issue right now, is that someone like Aranos and Kronos, they take so much skill to play, and the game's only been out 2 weeks. Leto Volcanic Forge now grants more pierce armor, so from 10 to 15. Yep, good buff for someone other than Oceanus. That's the best right now. Um, Frontline heroics fixed a bug where they would not show up. Applied for infantry heroes. Okay, fixed a bug. That's fine. Myth units Argus special attack now properly inflicts burst damage at the end of its ability. Yeah, I think I saw like a clip of it. Maybe it was on Reddit where it just wasn't working properly. So that's good. That's fixed. Centimanus Helios. Bonus damage first heroes down. Special attack now tosses up to a weight class. Okay, this is just confusing. Special attack now properly targets over all units and has an ability indicator. That's good. Special attack bonus versus myth units decreased. So that sounds like a whole lot of stuff for this gentleman. I don't know the bit about the weight classes, but he's the one that obviously pushes people back. So okay, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine changes. Now, hero units, or human units, I read hero down here. Terma movement speed increase, 5.5 speed, and 5.8 speed on the heroes. That's good. Termas don't feel very good. On they're even getting more armor. So was it pierce armor, and hack armor for the heroes, it seems, but no pierce armor for the normal ones. Okay. They're just getting more armor, more speed, making Terma better. I like that because right now they're just not a good unit. Fanatics, even more hack damage. Fanatics are decent, so it's interesting to see them get more. That's fine. Destroyers, yeah, destroyers probably need a little bit of love to get them better against buildings. And fire ship is the same as the hammer ships. Palace down, mirror tower down. Oh, mirror tower increase. Oh, okay. Mirror tower's now better. Interesting. So that is it for the general balance. Maybe there's some things to do with the maps. Oh, it's just going to be bugs and things. What's this? Ranked and quick match upgrade. Removed Mediterranean from the ranked maps. Okay, that's good. Water maps coming up too much. I don't like water maps very much. And added Megalopolis to ranked. Now, this one's really interesting because this one has an odd number of town centers. So this has 7 town centers in a 1v1 rather than 6. So this means that one player can get 4, one gets 3. And it's this kind of thing where it's like, can you push them or can you not? But that is it. I believe these are just some general things ongoing. They're obviously going to carry on to fix things. So that is it. That is the buffs. I'm surprised to not see anything on buffs and nerfs. I'm surprised to not see anything about centaurs. But yeah, interesting. Let me know what you think about these, and we'll see you in the next one.